you ever run into somebody on social media or in person, whether it has to deal with DIECAST or not, where you present them with something that you were talking about something, and they come and they tell you you're wrong, and you present them a bunch of proof, a bunch of evidence, and even people that would know better than them what they have said about the subject, but that person just still says everybody else is wrong, but they are right. Well, I ran into somebody like that today in the diecast world. I've ran into them periodically in my life, those types of people, but this person was just out there, just utterly, utterly, utterly ridiculous and not wanting to listen to anything. And it had to do with this right here. A Lightning McQueen Chrome Chase diecast, 1/64 scale, that I put up on Facebook Marketplace to sell. And you'll be shocked at what this person thought that they were overall right with, and was basically harassing and trolling me with, because it had nothing whatsoever to do with the condition, the price, or anything on this. Let me explain right after the intro. I have sold tons of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I've only sold one diecast, though, is a Super Treasure Hunt, a little Fiat. I sold it, had no issues selling. I normally never ever have an issue. Probably the biggest issue I've ever had on selling anything on Facebook Marketplace is just somebody not showing up. But I've never had anybody being rude, trolling, being ridiculous until now. And it was utterly ridiculous. And again, it had something to do with this car right here. I went to our local Walmart and actually went for chicken for my dog. Decided I'd go back to the diecast, to the toys, and see what they had. And this stuck out. I had never collected the cars before. I've collected tons of other different kind of diecasts, as you can tell, but I've never collected the actual cars. But it stuck out because it looked chrome, it looked shiny. I know with Hot Wheels and with Matchbox and a few other diecast companies that's normally the special ones that stick out like a sore thumb, like that, with special paint, special tires, all that stuff. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up, take it home, see if it is Chase. If it isn't Chase, then I like Lightning McQueen anyway. So I figured that I would go ahead and do that. Well, when I got home, the very first thing I did is I Googled it. And I Googled Disney Pixar 1/64 scale Chase. Guess what? Tons of listings come up for this. Said it was a chrome Chase. But I'm like, no, I want to have more proof. I don't want to list anything that is not correct. You know, sometimes things are misleading online, even though there was tons and tons and tons of listings. So I'm like, well, the very best source to go to for everybody is eBay, even though sometimes stuff is wrong on eBay too. But I went to eBay. Tons and tons of listings there of this, saying that it is an actual Chase. Well, I got to thinking, and I'm like, you know what? To just make sure that I'm 100% positive that this is a Chase, since I have been doing stuff with diecast, buying stuff from Whatnot, quite a few other places and stuff, I've gotten to know a couple people that actually work within Mattel one way, shape, or another. They might not be real high up, but they work in Mattel. And one person actually deals with these quite a bit. I was like, I'll contact them. So I contacted them and asked them about it. And they contacted me back, and they said, absolutely. They said that is a chrome Chase. So I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and list it. I'm going to go ahead and list it for sale, and see if I have any offers or anything like that. Not thinking that I would have any issues or anything like that with any rudeness or any ridiculousness. I mean, you know, you always have some type of issues. Like I said, people not showing up, or people trying to haggle you down, you know, stuff like that or whatever. But that stuff doesn't bother me. But I ended up, it was actually the day before yesterday, getting a random message on Facebook Marketplace, And the very first message from this person was, quit spreading misinformation. That is not a chase. Well, first and foremost, I knew that this had to be probably some kid or somebody that was probably young in age or something along those lines, or somebody that just does not know how to communicate, because it's not the way you come at somebody like that. That's coming at somebody with aggression. That's coming at somebody with basically saying that you're insulting them and stuff like that when they come at a person like that. Now, it would be different if he just said that is not a chase or something along those lines. But he said, stop spreading misinformation. He could have come and said, what makes you think it's an actual chase? Let me tell him, and then have a conversation about it. Or, man, I really just don't think that's a chase. Then I would have been fine. Okay, if you don't think it's a chase, that's fine. It's all good. But I always want to try to keep a good standing on Facebook Marketplace, because I don't want people, there's a lot of people that I guess don't have anything better to do, so they get on there and they start reporting people and reporting listings for scam and all this other stuff, even though they have no clue. That's false reporting. That happens all the time on social media with a lot of stuff, not just stuff on Facebook Marketplace. So I always try to talk everything out with people. I always give them the benefit of the doubt. So I started talking to this person, but while I was talking to this person, I also checked their profile. Come to find out, they were somewhat local. They were about an hour and a half from me. He was looked like he was about 20 years old. Said he was the CEO of a company, but it looked like he was, some small internet type of apparel company. He probably just made hats with screen printing or something along those lines. I don't know. I didn't check it out, but he wasn't no CEO of some big company and stuff like he was kind of portraying himself to be. So I sent him all the evidence from Google and eBay. I got tons of screenshots, sent them to him, and I said, look, all this stuff says it is a Chrome chase. So it is a Chrome chase. You may not think it's a chase, but it is an actual chase. He come back at me and he said, bro. He kept calling me bro, and I'm like, I'm not making fun of anybody that calls me bro, but I'm like, I'm not your bro. We haven't even had a conversation before and everything. And it just, I don't know. Just because this person was being a troll and doing all this stuff, it just irritated me. I was like, I'm not your bro. Because that's what I told him eventually. I was like, first off, I'm not your bro. So he come back and he said, it's not a chase. It's not a chase, not a chase. Basically, kind of agging it on, aggravating me, trying to insult me, and everything else. When I'm sitting there thinking in the back of my mind, if you don't want it, that's fine. Just move on. Why are you so worried about this stuff? And he said, I just don't like it when people are spreading, misinformation and stuff on online and everything. And I'm like, man, it's not misinformation. It is an actual chase. He come back and he said, bruh. He's like, not on the back of the card. Not on the back of the card, which you can see the giant here. It's a regular yellow on the sides of it, yellow lightning bolt, yellow number. This one is chrome with a white number and white deco, kind of like the regular Corvettes, the older Corvettes would have. That's what this deco is supposed to look like, the older Corvettes. And I told him, I said, they don't always have it listed on the back of the actual card. If he knew anything about diecast in general, he would know that all these diecast companies mix stuff up. They change stuff up. Just because it's not listed on the back of it does not mean it's not an actual chase. They do that on purpose a lot of times to create hype. So us collectors go find that stuff and we're like, oh wow, we didn't even know this was in the collection. Word of mouth gets out and it creates a craze and people go and actually get it if it's something that a lot of people want, especially in the actual collector sets like the premiums and stuff with Hot Wheels and all that. A lot of times they will not list the actual chase on the actual card. Like if it's a set of 5, it'll actually have 1 through 5 on the back, but when you get a chase, it'll actually be 0 out of 5. They change up stuff all the time. Hot Wheels, they didn't used to label the stuff Zamac, even though it was an actual Zamac. A lot of times with some of the cars. Now they label it. It used to be easy to find a treasure hunt and a super treasure hunt. It used to say it right on the bottom or right on the side of the card. Now you have to look for the special paint for the super treasure hunts, or for both of them you have to look for the little logo that's back behind the actual car, and it's harder to actually find them. So just because it's not listed on the back does not mean it's a chase. Obviously this is the series, one of the series that came out. It's probably not even the whole series that came out with this, and this is not listed. Obviously this is in the series and it's chrome, so obviously this would be the chase. So I told him that. I explained all that stuff to him. He come back again and said, bro, that's not a chase. And he shoots me this screenshot of this company website. It's called Fandom, which anybody that does diecast for quite a while, they know about this site. It's got a database of Hot Wheels, of all kinds of different diecasts and stuff. They mainly do concentrate more on Hot Wheels than anything, but they do a lot of different diecast. But a lot of times it takes them a lot of time to update certain stuff when it comes to certain things, because they're not a website that has tons of people that are updating that database. They only have a few people that are updating those databases, and they only know the information when it comes out and when it's actually available to them. It's not like they work for these companies and already know. They have to wait until it comes out and actually put this stuff manually actually into the actual database. So I shared that information with him as well. I said, just because it's, it may not show a chase there, does not mean there is not a chase, because it takes them a while to update the database. After all that, he still comes back and he's like, not a chase, quit spreading misinformation and all this other stuff. Like I said, I'm doing all this stuff to try to keep him from reporting me as being a scammer and stuff like that or whatever, even though he eventually reported me as a scammer anyway, which I'll tell you about that here in a second. And finally, I was like, maybe he'll listen to somebody that actually works with Mattel and works with the actual stuff. Maybe he will actually listen to them. And I was even willing to give him the information to contact him so he could let him know. But his ignorance and stupidity went above and beyond. After I let him know that, hey, look, I know somebody that works within Mattel and knows about cars, and they said absolutely that is a chase. After that, he come back, like I said, it made him look foolish, bigger than ever in any part of the conversation we were having about this. Because he come back and he said, bro, all right, bro, I believe that. You know somebody that lives in Malaysia. I believe that. He doesn't know who a person knows when you contact them online. They could know somebody that's very, very important. They could know tons of famous people. They could know people in other countries. You just never know. I've met some people that I know I wouldn't ever meet in real life, actually online, that really was legitimately people that, that I thought I would never be dealing with. Just put it that way. But anyway, he made himself look really, really, really foolish and ignorant, because Hot Wheels and Matchbox stuff, Mattel and stuff like that, is now made in Malaysia and stuff like that. It used to be made in other countries, a couple different countries and stuff back in the day. But these cars are actually manufactured, if you look right here, at the dark black above the Mattel, these are actually made in Thailand. So after that, I wasn't playing this game anymore. I'm like, this dude just has no clue. He has no clue whatsoever. So I said, look, I'm done. I said, it is a chase, whether you believe it or not. No matter what I tell you, you're not going to believe. He just kept coming back at me. So finally, I was like, I'm done. I don't care if he reports me or not. I'm done. I got started getting on audio and I started telling him to get a life and, find something better to do with his time, and basically all that stuff, and just to move on. Stop trolling me. Stop harassing me, all this other stuff. He come back again. He's like, bro, I'm not harassing or trolling you. I was like, what are you doing right now? I'm telling you to move on. I've told you to move on. I don't know how many times. If you, and I did throughout this conversation, if you don't want to buy it, then don't buy it. Just move on. You know, it's not anything that's hurting you. Just don't buy it. Don't worry about messaging somebody about it or anything like that. Just move on. It's not hurting you. And he still kept coming back at me. So fine, keep going if you want to keep going. You're only incriminating yourself. I'm recording this whole conversation by screenshots and everything else. I'm going to report you. I'm actually getting ready to report you right now. So keep going. You're only incriminating yourself. You're only making yourself look more foolish and worse. Then he come back and he said, well, I've already reported you. And I'm like, go figure. All that and everything. And he went ahead and reported me anyway. Like I said, these low lives like that has nothing better to do, they shouldn't be allowed doing that. People should not be allowed to do that, because it can hurt a seller or a buyer's standing with the Facebook Marketplace community, and they just shouldn't be allowed to do that. It's utterly ridiculous that somebody did something like that. But anyway, I wanted to share that story with y'all, let y'all know about it. Pretty sure a lot of you have probably had some dealings on Facebook Marketplace in general with selling, but there's a reason why there's a lot of sellers out there that are just not big, huge sellers, but people that just get on there periodically to sell one or two items or something like that on Facebook Marketplace or other places like that. They don't like selling stuff on there because of this stuff. It hinders them from wanting to sell. So Facebook Marketplaces and other places need to actually do something about this. But anyway, thank you for staying this long and listening to me. I am actually going to make a video, couple different videos, and they're going to be about Whatnot. Maybe show some cars with it too as well, if I can get some cars on Whatnot. One thing that saying about the stuff that I don't like seeing from buyers on Whatnot. Another one that I don't like seeing from other sellers, like in the chat and other places. Not that I don't love Whatnot. I'm just saying, I haven't bought as much, as you can tell, because I haven't made as many videos here lately. I haven't bought as much, and I haven't had the money either, but I haven't bought as much lately because I'm getting burnt out by some of the stuff I'm going to talk about when it comes to that stuff. So you'll want to stay tuned to that. But anyway, hopefully you all have an amazing, blessed day. We'll see you in those videos.